Here's one other thing, and that is, it's the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
That's the name of his show. This has nothing to do with really anyone else. This is his show. This is the conversations that he wants to have with different people. Yeah. Joe Rogan, he posted a video on Instagram, and it's kind of an apology, but he really just wanted to bring some clarity to this argument. So I brought in his clip from his Instagram page. And it's a little bit of a long clip, but I think it's worth playing.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Hello, friends. I wanted to make a video to address some of the controversy that's been going on over the past few days. And first of all, to say thank you to everyone that sent love and support. I truly, truly appreciate it. And it's been very nice to hear from you. I wanted to make this video, first of all, because I think there's a lot of people that have a distorted perception of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging. The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation, specifically about 2 episodes, a little bit about some other ones, but specifically about 2. One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone. Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history. Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of mRNA vaccine technology and is at least partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both these people are very highly credentialed, very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I wanted to hear what their opinion is. I had them on, and because of that, those episodes in particular, those episodes were labeled as being dangerous. They had dangerous misinformation in them. The problem I have with the term misinformation, especially today, is that many of the things that we thought of as misinformation just a short while ago are now accepted as fact. Like, for instance, 8 months ago, if you said, if you get vaccinated, you can still catch COVID and you can still spread COVID, you would be removed from social media. They would ban you from certain platforms. Now, that's accepted as fact. If you said, I don't think cloth masks work, you would be banned from social media. Now, that's openly and repeatedly stated on CNN. If you said, I think it's possible that COVID-19 came from a lab, you'd be banned from many social media platforms. Now, that's on the cover of Newsweek. All of those theories that at one point in time were banned were openly discussed by those 2 men that I had on my podcast that have been accused of dangerous misinformation. I do not know if they're right. I don't know, because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I'm just a person who sits down and talks to people and has conversations with them. Do I get things wrong? Absolutely, I get things wrong, but I try to correct them. Whenever I get something wrong, I try to correct it because I'm interested in telling the truth. I'm interested in finding out what the truth is. And I'm interested in having interesting conversations with people that have differing opinions.
Wow, what a concept.
Well said, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he makes a good point, though, about, what was information that was supposedly true is now shown to be false. And, that's just the way life is. We learn stuff and we make adjustments. The problem with the scenario we're talking about is just you shouldn't be canceled for it.
Absolutely.
You should basically have people give their case and argue. It's conversation. It should not be one side is right and so the other side can't do anything.
And what if somebody was almost completely right and they go, oh, I didn't think about that factor. I'm so glad you talked about that. Let's give that a change. They're not like gods and they're like, we made it perfect. You can't change it. It can't get better.
Yeah.
Everything we do in society is supposed to progress us. So many.
Yeah. I want to play the apology side or the apology clip of Joe Rogan's Instagram post because he's a nice guy. I don't know how many episodes you've watched or listened to, but he's a pretty decent guy.
Oh yeah.
And he does look at a lot of different perspectives, but he's a good conversationalist.
Absolutely.
And he can talk to just about anyone. Even if he disagrees with them, he can still have a good conversation.
Right.
Which is a skill to have. So this is his apology. And I don't know. I think, it just shows his character.
I don't know what else I can do differently other than maybe try harder to get people with differing opinions on right afterwards. I do think that that's important, and do my best to make sure that I've researched these topics, the controversial ones in particular, and have all the pertinent facts at hand before I discuss them.
I just want to make a point on this. He's talking about, how can I do better? And I think we all, when we have criticism from different places, we always consider, okay, well, how could I do better? If this is a real problem, how could I do better?
Right.
And so he's kind of looking at how can I do better? But he's a conversational podcast.
Right.
It's not like he has to do a bunch of research.
Right. It's not. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't. Yeah, I agree. To me, in a conversation, you get to learn a lot. I mean, this guy, he says he's not that bright. He's very bright.
Oh, sure.
And the number of conversations that you participate in, you'll pick up on different stuff, and you'll start to formulate your own opinion. But he's so good at having a conversation with the back and forth and asking the right questions and guiding the conversation and contributing his own background.
Yeah, but we don't need people like on CNN when they get an expert on and they're trying to portray what they know because they want people to know what they know, and then now you're having a debate with a freaking potato head that thinks that he knows the same equivalent as him or them, and so sometimes that's interfering, and you don't get them to say, unless you want to redirect which way the conversation goes. But Joe has always been about, hey, let's hear. I'm open ears. What's up? And he happens to know how to ask questions to keep that ball rolling and to dig deeper in what they're saying. And he's bright enough to about most of all the topics he talks about, so he doesn't interfere with his own opinions. And we don't. Joe knows that we didn't come here to listen to his opinion. We're coming here to listen to him interview the people that has the opinions. And so I think, because he's a nice guy, he's trying hard to be pleasing. And I commend him for that. But I'm just saying, dude, that's not necessary, man. You do whatever topics you want to do. I don't care if he has the freaking Sesame Street group up there and he wants to interview Sesame Street guys. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever he wants to do. And he doesn't need to have a backup. It's all up to him. Do your show. Do it how you want to. Yeah. And the people that want to show up will show up.
I'll continue with
Joe Rogan.
Joe's apology.
Again, I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I'm not trying to be controversial. I've never tried to do anything with this podcast other than just talk to people and have interesting conversations. I didn't plan it. I can't believe it's as successful as it is. It was never really an idea
That's all
that I had. The podcast started off as just fucking around with my friends and having fun and talking. And then when it became popular, other people wanted to come on, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to talk to that person. Oh, he's interesting. Oh, she's got a cool book out. And then, boom, it's become what it is today, which is like some out-of-control juggernaut that I barely have control of. So my pledge to you is that I will do my best to try to balance out these more controversial viewpoints with other people's perspectives, so we can maybe find a better point of view. I don't want to just show the contrary opinion to what the narrative is. I want to show all kinds of opinions so that we can all figure out what's going on, and not just about COVID, about everything, about health, about fitness, wellness, the state of the world itself. It's a strange responsibility to have this many viewers and listeners. It's very strange, and it's nothing that I prepared for.
11 million.
It's nothing that I ever anticipated. I am going to do my best in the future to balance things out. I'm going to do my best, but my point of doing this is always just to create interesting conversations and ones that I hope people enjoy. So if I pissed you off, I'm sorry. And if you enjoy the podcast, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to Spotify. Thank you all the supporters, and even thank you to the haters, because it's good to have some haters. It makes you reassess what you're doing and put things into perspective, and I think that's good too.
Two things. Number one, he could have 1 million people hate him. Holy shit, he's got a lot of people that love him, and then 1 million people that hate him is a lot. So the other thing is that he's bright, but I don't think he's thinking right here because he's like, I should have somebody out, or I can maybe have somebody out to rebalance out that conversation. But he already did that. Or excuse me, he doesn't have to do that because he had those people on to balance out the world's conversation. And it's already, the other side is already not just out there here and there, it is overwhelmingly out there.
Well, I think he's realizing how big his show is, and so he's trying to be, respectful of the people who are complaining. But he had Sanjay Gupta from CNN, the doctor.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's right.
So he has other people come on his show again.
But you don't need to have a back-to-back one. Or a debater.
Exactly. He does a pretty good job of having a variety of different voices, and he navigates those conversations, I think, rather well. So he doesn't. This is not a show like, there's a whole bunch of like BBC has where it's about the left and the right. It's about one opinion and then the other, and then it's all about debating back and forth. That's not what the show is. The show is conversational. Right. It's about having a civil conversation and learning about some stuff and exchanging ideas. And he doesn't need to have the back and forth.
No, he doesn't.
Here's one other thing, and that is, it's the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
That's the name of his show. This has nothing to do with really anyone else. This is his show. This is the conversations that he wants to have with different people.
Yeah, it's not Scott and Dave's experience through Joe.
That's right.
It's his, and we can sit down and enjoy his experience if we want it. And thanks for listening to the shortened version of our show.
If you want to catch the full audio episode, you can find it here or wherever you find your podcasts. But if you want to see the full version in video format, you can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, and now on Spotify.